It's the first anime in a lot of years to get me that hard.
No.
Like to get me, like that sounded weird. That's not what I meant. One, like I always wanted to storyboard one bending fight sequence. And
are you allowed
like,
to say which one you did?
No, because the movie's not out, so I can't say.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough.
No, I would get in a lot of trouble for that.
So you talked about Castlevania, you talked about the budget there. I can imagine then budget plays a huge role in how an animation turns out. So as with anything with money, so can you just talk to me, and you don't have to obviously say what the budget was or anything, but what is a typical like good budget in animation? Like, is it 100 million? Or is it $10,000? I mean, it depends on how many. So let's just say a one series show, 12 episodes, right? How much typically do you think that would cost in general to create?
I think this number varies a lot. I think my understanding, and you know, I'm not exposed to a lot of anything I know about budget is more because I would bother people to be like, I like to know how it all works, even behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, hey, how does this work? How do these deals get made? How does this blah, 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 you know? My understanding is that like somewhere in between 1 and 2 million per episode is a pretty good budget. I think that's a range from, again, this is like a really, I'm not a producer, but this is my understanding is it's like 1 million would be like, okay. Maybe pretty good. Maybe it depends on the style of show, you know?
Sure.
And then 2 million is my understanding would be like really good.
Okay.
And I think some shows have gotten more than that. Some shows have been way below that range.
Yeah, of course.
And when I got this information was some years ago, and so I don't know if that's still accurate.
Yeah, sure.
I think it really kind of depends. And also, I don't know how much of that includes what they call above the line versus below the line costs, which are like, you know, things like acting and the writers and stuff like that. Usually it's a separate budget from the actual animation production. So I don't know if those budgets are meant to include all that stuff or if it's just the animation production part of it. Like, I'm not sure. So there's a lot I don't know about how the budgeting works.
No, that's still
that's the best kind of sketch.
No, that's still very insightful. I think, again, it's one of those things where I was shocked, like how much money gets spent on these things. And I think you're right. If you're looking at the totality in terms of the voice actors that are maybe hired, I was this morning just looking at The Prince of Egypt, and that cost like 60 million to do, and that was back then in 1999. I don't know if technology has made things a lot cheaper or a lot more expensive. Who knows? But
oh my god,
yeah,
I would kill for a $60 million budget for a TV animated movie. Oh my god, that seems like extravagant now.
So I mean, what does bigger budget? Forget the above the line,
like,
which are probably.
Have you seen? There's that movie. Oh, sorry.
No,
I have
maybe
like
we'll
a lag
overlap.
thing. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, no. You go first. You were saying there was a movie.
No, I was just gonna say that there was that French movie that came out, Mars Express.
Okay.
And I think I saw that budget was like, I don't know, like 3 million or 10 million, something like that, something super low. And I was blown away. I mean, I know that like the U.S. our budgets tend to be the highest, and so it may make it difficult to make a movie for that budget. But like that movie looks amazing for such a wildly low budget. It's really impressive.
What's more important to you?
What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, in terms of budgets, like, if you had like an unlimited budget, right? What would make it the best? Was it be getting more artists to like make sure that between frames they're all like amazing? Would it be to get better talent in terms of voice actors or writers? Like, where do you kind of put the most value when it comes to the production process?
I mean, this is gonna feel like a cop-out answer, but it's genuinely the truth. It's all of the above.
Okay.
I think that writing talent is murky because it doesn't necessarily have to cost a ton, but a lot of the writers who are going to be safe bets because they're known to be good probably have built their way up to be having a really high, a high
rate
salary or whatever, high rate, So, but you can find. I mean, there can be brilliant writers all over the place who haven't been discovered or aren't a name for like, office politics reasons or because their career just didn't go in a certain direction or whatever. So you can get. I don't think good writing has to be super expensive, but it's going to be safe and easier to find good writing if you have an unlimited budget. And then, just having access to animation talent. We can't animate a lot in the U.S., and that's a big problem. We have to go to outsourced studios because of all the ways the industry works. And, so just being able to do a lot of the stuff like in-house where you can talk to the animators, you can talk to individual animators and like shape what they're doing as they're going. And everyone can talk to each other, and we can't do that with the current system. That would be great. Stuff like that, but it's all going to contribute to quality. That's why I said it's a cop-out answer, just because it really is everything. Yeah, it's just true. It's just everything could benefit with more money.
Do you think you can have because I'm on the opinion that you can have a great story, but have like poor quality animation and graphics, so long as the story is amazing, people will essentially gravitate towards it. Do you think that would work or not necessarily in today?
Yeah, I think that could work. It's just when it tends to work is when people have found a way to like work around their really small budget, with stylistic choices. Very simplified character design style or whatever. Like there's a million ways you can do that, but I think that if you have a really good story and then you shoot for good art and it just kind of doesn't work, if the story is really good, people might still just kind of forgive it. If they're sucked in, they're sucked in. If they're not, they're not. But they might be okay with that, and you could probably still make it. It just kind of really depends, but it's usually going to come down to like effective use of limited resources. Yeah. And I think sometimes there's been evidence of the opposite. Like a lot of people like to say, "Oh, well, you have to have like kind of what you said," but what they mean is it's not true the other way around. And I think actually there are a lot of examples of anime where the story, especially from the 80s and 90s, where the story was meandering or didn't work or was just kind of like, I don't know, just kind of nothing. But it was so unbelievably gorgeous that people still like they're still cult classics. And so sometimes that happens, especially if the art is not only amazing, or the execution, not just the art, but the overall execution is not just amazing, but new in some way. Sometimes people will still revere it, even if the story is kind of like, I don't know what they were trying to do with the story, but it blew my mind visually, like that can still happen. I think it's not as common, and I think that a good story is still going to be more likely to be successful and appreciated even with limited resources. But I don't think the opposite always isn't true. You know what I mean?
You're right. I'm trying to think of an anime back in the 90s which was like amazing graphics but not necessarily great story. But when I watched it, I was just mainly watching it for the beams and the fire. Was Gundam Wing, Mobile Suit Gundam. The story was so complicated, but I was like a 12-year-old boy. I had no idea what was going on, rather than just beams and and I loved it. So I'm not saying it's not a great story, people. I'm just saying that for me, that was very much held by the animation and the designs of the Gundams that held me to that. So for sure. And another thing, I think, that was great. So in terms of like anime, let's just get onto anime. Here's a controversial one. Is Avatar an anime? Avatar the Last Airbender. Is the Avatar the Last Airbender an anime?
Oh, is Avatar anime? Okay. It's funny. Okay, this conversation, where I think it comes from is that people need a term for two different things, right? One is to describe an aesthetic, and one is to describe animation coming from a country, from Japan.
Yes, correct.
Because we don't have individual words for these two boxes, people are fighting over the use of one word to describe two separate things. And so to me, it's like, I don't have a dog in this fight, really, because I understand both perspectives. Because I get you want a word for this, but this other thing needs a word, and we don't have another word for that. And so I kind of understand why each camp wants a word to describe the thing they're trying to describe. And now there's other messy that gets kind of lumped into all this, right? There's like weird gatekeeping, and then there's weird like fetishizing of anything Japanese, which like we love to do. And so there's other stuff that gets tangled into this, that gets messy and weird and complicated. But I understand the need for words for these two things. And then even within, even those two boxes, they're reductive boxes, because you look at the anime aesthetic thing, right? People want to call that aesthetic anime. Well, which one? Because Pokemon is anime. Ghost in the Shell is anime.
Absolutely.
Both people would talk about both of those things aesthetically as being anime, but they are wildly different looks. They do not look the same at all. And so now you already don't have a word for the big encompassing thing, but you're going to need more words to drill down, because there's so many styles within that. And so, like, it's really just a shortage of nomenclature that is leading to people arguing. It's like limited resources, but the resource is words. And they only have the one word, so everyone's fighting over it. And that's what's going on. And so if somebody wants to call Avatar anime, I completely am okay with that, because I know they mean the aesthetic. If somebody else wants to say, no, Avatar is not anime, I'm also okay with that, because I get what they want to mean. It comes from Japan.
Yeah.
And so it's like, we just kind of have a word shortage problem. But I don't have a stake in this fight, because I have no opinion about this either way.
No, I do you know what? The way you broke that down is, I've never heard anyone break it down like that, actually. It's quite refreshing. Just because, from my standpoint, look, I think when you take the word anime from Japan, it just means animation. And they think, or they see something like Dexter's Laboratory as anime. It's just cartoons. It's another word for cartoons in Japan. So for them, it's just anime. You show them Shrek, it's anime. You show them Dragon Balls, it's all anime, right? But then, to your point, when it comes out of Japan, then people are kind of like, in the West, classifying it as more so anime versus Western cartoons, which are stylistically different. I get that. But from my standpoint, I've always kind of seen this way, but I might start thinking the way you're approaching it in terms of the two different camps, is that my standpoint is, like, if it's holding true to the medium, to the art style, and I think where you kind of got me is like Pokemon and Ghost in the Shell, two different art styles, but they're both quote unquote animes. But my thinking was, well, if the art style is respected, like hip hop, you can have hip hop in the UK, you can have hip hop in Germany, but it originated from New York, right? But you still call it hip hop wherever it is, based on the principles, and the structure, the principles, and you're kind of like taking the core of it. You might subvert it, you might change here and there, but you're kind of taking the baseline of it, what it is. So if you're taking the core principles of hip hop, or you're taking the core principles of anime, in terms of the stylistics, and when you're doing it in the West, it should still be anime. It's just like if someone makes sushi in America, it's not nothing. It's not something different, right? It still should be sushi. But I understand what you mean, in that if it's so different, how can you? Yeah, you kind of got me there. Actually, I'm kind of thinking about, maybe it is, like you said, just two different. There's no word for it. I think that's right.
I think your take is completely valid too, and I feel like if you were to ask me which way do I slightly lean more towards, I probably lean more towards encapsulating the aesthetic in the word anime, right? As vague and as undefined as that is, we in the West do need that, because we have such a weird, complicated relationship with the way we talk about anime that comes from Japan, right? Like, we feel the need to separate it and to distinguish it, even when Japan likely doesn't. Because we have such a cultural thing happening around anime. And And so I probably lean a little bit more. I tend to use it more as an aesthetic. I also hear people saying anime adjacent just to find a way to describe anime influenced work from the West, you know? But yeah, I mean, other than that, that's kind of all I tend to really deeply hate semantic arguments. When they get really heated, I tend to be like, all right, well, we're fighting over words. Like, it's what we do.
Exactly. Exactly that. The reason why I asked that is just because it's one of those things that anime fandom like love to just, you know.
I don't. I'm okay with talking about it. I wish people wouldn't get so like the level of anger. It feels like not proportional to how important this is in the grand scheme of things. You know what I mean? It just seems a little out of balance.
Absolutely correct. So, on the subject of Avatar, I know you worked on Avatar. What was your role in Avatar? And I guess, what was something that you learned or you enjoyed working on that project?
So I worked I want to kind of specify. I worked on the movie that I don't know if it has a name yet, but it's as of now, I think, untitled Avatar movie. And I was only on it for like 3 months or so. I was a freelance storyboard artist. Nice. I boarded, I think, a total of like, I think 2 scenes, maybe 3 scenes, maybe 2. I don't remember. It was really fun. So I already am a huge fan of a lot of the artists that worked on it, especially Ki-Hyun Ryu, Joaquim Dos Santos, and Lauren Montgomery. And so I was already, when I was trying to learn how to board, copying their work like crazy. All of Studio Mir, I think, like, just they're so brilliant, they're so good. And I was you know, I was like, well, if I'm gonna learn how to board, I'm gonna try to copy the best examples I could possibly find. And Ryu's are some of the best boards still I've ever seen, along with Joaquim's and Lauren's. And so, like, when I started that project, it felt like it fit because I had been copying their work for so long. It was like, oh, like, this is just kind of snapping into place in a way that like no other project has felt like still. And so I really, really enjoyed it. Like, everybody was really nice. Their feedback was really solid. My biggest regret is I didn't get to watch Lauren work more. I wish I could have, because I was we would have our storyboard review sessions, and she would like watch it and then immediately just like bam, 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 have all the feedback.
Wow. So
fast. And then she would just know how to fix it so quick. Where, like, if I review something, I kind of need time. Like, I gotta watch it again. My first pass is just to see how I feel about it, like, vaguely, like, you know, just what feelings are coming up. What's feeling like red flag, that needs to change. And then I gotta watch it again to break that down and to, you know, be more specific about what I think isn't working about a sequence. So I gotta do all these passes to really hone in on what I think needs to change about a sequence before I can give my feedback. She just did it on the spot in a meeting, like, really quick, and I was just like, I was amazed. And so it was just really cool, and I got to see a bunch of the boards that were being done by everybody else, and the story was very much evolving at the time. I don't know where it's at now. I'm pretty sure it's probably changed since I was working on it. But, like, just watching the people whose work I kind of looked up to for so long was really cool. And it was especially nice because it was a, like, meet your heroes moment where they were nice. Like, I've had the opposite happen a couple times now, where I met someone I looked up to a lot and then they were just a giant
Not
asshole.
Nice.
But they were really, really cool, and I don't know. Yeah, it was great. I wish I could have stayed on longer. Honestly, I couldn't stay on too long because it was a part-time thing. I was still was I at Powerhouse? I was still at Powerhouse. I think now I'm forgetting, but I couldn't stay on indefinitely, and because I would have burned out so hard.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Every time I take freelance, I'm always like, this was the dumbest idea. It's always a huge mistake, but it's always like, but I really want to work on that thing, and it's my only chance to work on that thing. But I don't want to leave my full-time job to go work on it. So I do a freelance gig, and then I'm like, oh my, I'm so tired by the end of it.
Still one of the things on the CV, right? So,
Yeah.
and like you said, you got to meet your heroes, you got to learn. So no, that's great. That's absolutely great.
I always wanted to do one, like I always wanted to storyboard one bending fight sequence. And
are you allowed to say which one you did?
No, because the movie's not out, so I can't say.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough.
No, I would get in a lot of trouble for that. I will say that it was with a character that I really, really wanted to always board a sequence with. And even now, I'm like, ever since I finished the assignment, I've been like, I could have done this, I could have done that. All of a sudden, all these ideas flood into my head because it's over, like the pressure is off, and so now all of a sudden my brain is lighting up with all these ideas that I can't. It's too late. But it was great, man. It was really fun.
So then moving on from, because I love Avatar, and then one thing I also love is, and I've been watching it, is Pantheon. What a show! Honestly, like so you mentioned Ghost in the Shell. That's in my top 3 anime. So my top 3 animes are One Piece, Ghost in the Shell, and Hajime no Ippo.
Wait, which Ghost in the Shell do you like?
Oh, second gig and first gig. So I still like the old movie as well.
So the show.
Yeah, the show. The show. The movie's good as well, but for me, first and second gig is just like how he did. Like Production IG is one of my favorite studios, and like just looking back, it looks crisp. It's timeless. I can watch it now and just think, was this made today? Like it's insane. Honestly, it's insane. It gives me Akira vibes in terms of how it was drawn and so on and so forth. But yeah, that
also, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna get into.
Yeah.
I'll save it for that.
Sure.
But that's. Yep.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. But yeah, I get the same vibes from Pantheon, not necessarily in terms of the way it was drawn, but just more so in the terms of the concept of artificially uploaded intelligence and just, the way, you're looking at the future and, uploaded intelligence, all that stuff it kind of gets, it's almost like a precursor to Ghost in the Shell. Very different in terms of how they are. Ghost in the Shell is a bit more dark, cyberpunky. Yeah. I think Pantheon got a bit colorful at the end, but yeah, I just love the science in it. So again, just kind of similar question. What was your role in Pantheon? And another question I want to ask to that is, I saw a clip which went quite semi-viral in that he was saying that the new kind of drawing in the West lacks detail or has like a similar kind of style. So
who said that?
It was just one of this podcast. I can't remember the name of the podcast. It was just a fan. It was no one of worthy critical.
I was just curious.
Yeah. And he was just talking about how the level of detail in some of these shows is not as much as, say, the likes of back in the day when you were watching, I don't know, Thundercats or something like that. Yeah. So curious to get your view on, first of, is this just the way the industry is going in terms of the art style being quite, I guess, monotone or the same kind of thing? Because it's not just Pantheon. I think the similar art styles kind of going. He was talking about Invincible, not Pantheon, but he was talking about Invincible in this instance. Yeah. But it's kind of like a similar kind of art styles. And maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, the questions were, what was your role, and then what do you think about the art style and just in general in terms of the West and the way it's going?
Okay, first question. It was the same deal as Avatar, pretty much. Nice. I was a freelance storyboard artist on Pantheon. I think I did the same number of sequences, like 2 or 3 sequences. I was really, really, really stoked for this show. Like, the level of like cheerleading I did for this show made no sense for my very limited contribution. But I was like, this is a kind of writing that we have not seen, and it's very much the direction I want American animation to go into in terms of storytelling and writing. And I was so excited to see something like this, because it was like, I've been waiting for a show like this. Like, my whole career was like, I was in search of this kind of writing. Like this style of writing, where it's very, very, very grounded. it's just I don't know. I don't even know how to articulate exactly what it is about the writing that I love so much about Pantheon, but I loved the way it was written.
It's insane.
And I was truly obsessed with this show. I was like, oh, we're there. Like we're starting to dip into the level of, I guess, it's written like an adult drama, really.
Yep.
That's what it is,
Yep.
It's written
Yep.
like an HBO drama and it was like, we're finally doing this over here. France has been doing this for forever. Japan's been doing this for forever. We just, because of all of the preconceptions that a lot of the people in West have, and especially studio executives have about what animation can be, have we been so limited. And then when this show came out, I was so, because they really did the show dirty. I don't know how the release was in the UK, but in the US, they buried it. It came out on like AMC Plus or like the AMC streaming service and nowhere else. It wasn't advertised at all. There was no marketing. I mean, there was some, but like obviously just not nearly what it deserved. No one had the AMC Plus thing. And then they just kind of buried season 2. Like, my understanding was that season 2 had already been completed, and then they just didn't release it. And they just did so much to screw this show over. I don't understand why. And so as a result, it just didn't catch on. And that I was so mad because this show to me represented a big shift in what was possible in Western animation and how the perception of what animation could be in the West could change. And it just like killed it. And I don't think it got the attention it could have gotten. I don't think it got. I don't know. I was
No,
mad.
I absolutely agree. I'm the same. I was actually one of my future videos is going to be why is no one talking about Pantheon, because I didn't even know that whole kind of background. But yeah, it doesn't seem like I'm seeing it everywhere, and it's almost like I found one of the best shows I've seen in my life, and no one else is like acknowledging it. I'm like, come on, if you're anime fans or just fans of the like you said, it's written like an adult drama, and it's the writing is insane. I just don't know why people are not talking about it. I went into IMDb. I see some great reviews as well, but it's not like the sample size that you're expecting for other shows as well. So I don't know what happened. I'll be very sad.
If it had been released on HBO Max or Max, whatever they call it, or Amazon or Netflix, I think it would have. Like, it's on Amazon now, and I think it's on Netflix now.
It's on Netflix,
It's on Netflix now. But it's too late. Like, it's, I don't even know, are both seasons on Netflix now?
Yeah. I watched both seasons.
Finally.
Yeah.
So for the longest time, it was separated too. I think there was a point where season 1 was only available on one service. I want to say Amazon Prime, and then season 2 was either not available in a bunch of countries or only available on a separate service. It's like somebody was deliberately trying to make this thing not reach anyway, so I think if it had just been released like normally, like the way every other show is, on one of these major streaming services, it would have gotten the acclaim it deserved. Or if it was on AMC, like the channel, like I think it was originally supposed to be, it would have gotten plenty of attention and acclaim, and it just never got its shot. But to answer your second question, I don't necessarily think Western animation in general is moving in one specific direction with regard to art. I think it's just coincidence, kind of, that Pantheon and Invincible have somewhat similar art styles. There are definitely differences between the two, but I totally understand why people are saying that they're similar. I think part of that is just similar artists or artists who are in the same circles, working on multiple projects. The way that like that tends to happen, where you'll have like a kind of mini cloud of artists who have either worked together a lot in the past or came up on the same stuff or learned from each other or whatever in the industry, and so you have these like pockets of aesthetics, like there's kind of a little similar thing with even Powerhouse stuff, where a lot of Powerhouse artists, especially the people who really came up on Castlevania, have somewhat similar art styles, and if they had gone on to a bunch of different studios and became leads, they might have styles, maybe developing shows with similar styles. Part of it is also resources. There's a limited amount of detail you can do without really screwing yourself over, in terms of just what is actually doable and able to be accomplished. And I think that's really, honestly, at the root of a lot of that stuff. Like, for example, when the Avatar projects come out, I think they're going to look different.
Okay.
When Castlevania obviously looks really different.
Yes.
Common Side Effects is a show I've been watching, and it looks really different. It has like a really bizarre kind of hyper exaggerated character style. But then it has a very, like, the lighting and the background painting and the compositing is absolutely gorgeous. And so that plus Scavenger's Reign, it's just a really different style where it's very, like, more graphic kind of, more Mobius-esque. And so I think there's a lot of different styles. I think that it just so happens that, like, I don't know, these two projects feel similar, and Invincible is insanely popular, and so it just invites comparison. But I think if you look at the broader scope of what's going on in animation in the West, it's really different.
Okay. No, that's a good breakdown. I think you're right. I think, again, to the novice eyes, they probably all look the same, as it were.
Sure. I understand that, too. I understand where that comes from.
Yeah, for sure. All right, just using the last last segment to talk about anime, because you mentioned Ghost in the Shell. I can see that you had Cowboy Bebop in your Instagram as part of your art decor. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's talk about anime. How did you first get into anime? Was it like your usual Tsunamis and so on and so forth?
No. I can't remember what came first between the two things I'm going to mention. One, I think, was video stores started carrying anime, like Blockbuster, Hollywood Video. These video rental stores started carrying anime. Really early 90s, before there was ever a Toonami, and I started watching anime that way. So I remember, like, I think the first anime I ever saw was Street Fighter 2, the animated movie.
Oh yeah.
Nice. And that to me is still, let's talk about video game adaptations. I think it's top 10. It's like one of the best, period.
Top tier for sure.
And I saw that in the really, really early 90s. And then I remember there was this thing on the Sci-Fi Channel called Saturday Anime. And this is pre-Toonami. This is like 1994, maybe? Maybe 96? I don't remember. I was really young. But every Saturday, they would show a new anime, usually movies. And so I remember they showed Akira, Ghost in the Shell, Rojin Z, Ninja Scroll, edited, of course, because it was Saturday morning.
Yeah. That was my first anime, by the way, and I was only 7.
Ninja Scroll? Yeah, that was up there. That was one of the earliest ones for me, too. But Araya, like a bunch of stuff. And so I just watched all those first, and then I became obsessed with anime at that point. And I was like 9 or 10. And then way later, I don't think Toonami happened until I was in maybe late middle school or maybe high school. I don't remember. It was like 2000. When did Toonami start? 1999, 2000, something like that?
Yeah. Well, I must have been like 13, 14, so maybe.
Okay, yeah. By then I was already like real deep into anime. So it was mostly like video stores and Sci-Fi Channel, and then that kind of shaped. That was the beginning. And by the time Toonami came along, I think I was already in. Yeah.
So you mentioned let's go with your top 3 or maybe top 5. Whichever one is easiest.
Okay.
Top 5 anime that you've seen or comes to mind for you.
So I'm a 90s kid, so unfortunately my answer is going to be very, very generic. It's going to be Bebop.
Yep.
Evangelion.
Yep.
Ghost in the Shell standalone complex.
Nice.
Same as you. That's why when you brought it up, I was like, oh, yeah, because I don't think that one's discussed enough. Most people talk about the movie, right? Like, because it was so revolutionary, and it was. Mm-hmm. But the show is my favorite iteration. Even with the new one coming out, I have a feeling standalone complex is still going to be like the
Same.
one for me.
Same.
What else? I like almost anything Shuko Murase does. But I think he's only directed like 2 things. Like, at least I've only seen Genocidal Organ and Gundam, the Hathaway's Flash movie.
Oh yeah.
That's an example of something I didn't understand what the hell was going on because I don't know Gundam lore like that, and I think it expects you to know Gundam lore. But it was so gorgeous, and he has a really grounded way of directing. A lot of that style isn't being made now, you know, like Lazarus is kind of a weird exception, but generally a lot of the more like adult oriented, very grounded anime that kind of dominated in the 90s and 80s is like really hard to find now. And especially stuff that's more like mild sci-fi or kind of espionage-y or stuff like that, like Spriggan, you know, like it's just there's nothing. No one's making that kind of stuff, and that's what I like. Like that's the kind of thing I would love to make, but that's what I grew up on, and so.
No, I agree. Have you seen The Sword and the Stranger?
Yeah.
That's so good as well.
Yeah, that's a great one. Denno Coil I liked a lot. Forgetting something. Where's my wife? She would know. She knows better than me what I like. Like,
you like Samurai Champloo, I'm guessing?
I liked it, but I was not that into it. Like, I watched it, had a good time, and then that was it. It wasn't like Bebop, where like it changed my life. It changed my whole. I think it shaped a lot of my like directorial style. I don't get to use that a lot. Like a lot of those sensibilities just are not appropriate for most of the shows that I work on. But if I were ever to do something, it would probably have a lot of Bebop and Evangelion shooting styles influence kind of blended in there because it was just I was at the right age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just went straight into my brain like it really drilled in there.
Are you a fan of the Ghibli films?
I am, but they're not. Excuse me. They're not like the life-changing, huge influence that they are for a lot of other people. They are for like my wife more so than me. I like them. I still enjoy them. But I'm not as. I don't know. I'm not as bought in. There's some movies that I've watched repeatedly. Howl's Moving Castle is one I like a lot, even if like the end kind of gets weird and I don't like. There's a lot of things that just start to come together. But I don't know, something about it tonally I really like. Princess Mononoke, of course. That's kind of the staple. Yeah. A couple others, but I like Ghibli, but it's not like. This formed a lot of my sensibility, and you know, it's not like it didn't shape me the way that the '90s action anime did. You know.
No, that's fair enough. I think in the '90s for me, when I was watching, I think it was the likes of Gundam, big influence on me. Zoids, Beyblade, Yu-Gi-Oh, those kind of. They weren't necessarily the great. They were just kind of like cartoons, which initially I didn't know they were anime. I just thought they were just cartoons on Cartoon Network. Till later I found out they were anime. Dragon Ball Z, of course, The Godfather. Again, not necessarily the best story, but it's just one of those ones where it kind of paved the way for so many others. I know Oda is like in awe of Toriyama, and not just Oda, all the others that came after him as well. Are you watching anything currently at the moment? I know sometimes, you know, there's so much anime these days. Like back in the day, you had to, like you mentioned, go to Blockbuster or trying to find it some way. It was hard to get anime. Now it's just so much, right? So is there anything at the moment that you're watching?
God, we used to download these.
Allegedly.
We had to. It was these like horrible. It was like someone took a 240p scan of a VHS, and then like I don't even know how they did subtitles, but they had subtitles, and they were just almost. It was like this close to just being an indecipherable mass of pixels. Like, it was so low quality. but like we just ate it up because you couldn't get it. You couldn't get it anywhere else. But sorry. So okay, you asked me.
I'm guessing you've seen Naruto, right? Or not necessarily? Yeah.
I watched. Well, not all of it, but you know, in 2004 when it first came out, it was like peak when I was watching anime.
Yeah.
But I fell off after a while, so I never finished like Shippuden or anything. Actually, around Shippuden is when I was like, I'm not really feeling this anymore.
Fair enough.
We said what I'm watching now. I will answer that, but I want to come to your top 5 list.
Oh yeah, my top 5. Yeah, sure. Yeah. So my top 5 is, as I mentioned, One Piece is number 1. Then Ghost in the Shell. Then what did I say? Hajime no Ippo. Just that's one where the art style may not necessarily be the best, but the story, the grit from this, like, it's an amazing sports anime. I just identify so much with the character Ippo and just his tenacity, the gambete, like, I'm going to work hard, I'm going to train, I'm going to just keep going and going and going. So I think it's a staple story for anyone who's maybe wants some motivation to watch that anime. The next one, this is where it gets hard for me because I love Dragon Ball Z. I don't think it's necessarily the best story, rest in peace Toriyama, but what it did for the culture, I love it. So I will put it in at number 4. But the reason why I say this is hard is because that means where do I put Attack on Titan or Hunter x Hunter? Because Attack on Titan, for me, I say it's anime of the decade in the last 10 years. Like, no other anime can touch. You got to, I know it was a bit like sporadic in this release. Right? Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
And then after that, I just never went back.
Yeah, which is fair. But now it's all done. Just go and watch it in its entirety. It's like, honestly, one of the best storytelling, graphics, animation, everything it's just beautiful. But then you have Hunter x Hunter. Again, amazing anime. Back in the 90s started. Great story. One of the most complex power systems to date. I don't think any other power systems have got to that specificity. Yeah. But the only issue is, unfortunately, the mangaka is having issues with his back and hasn't necessarily, it hasn't
he
finished.
Just started again, right? Well, didn't he tweet something?
Yeah, they always say that he starts, he doesn't start. Again, the amount of times I see Hunter x Hunter's coming back. I know the manga is still ongoing, but apparently the drawing is not as good as it used to be. And I wish him all the best in terms of healing. I know sometimes they say I just wish he could outsource his ideas and so on and so forth, because in terms of what he wants the people to do, because it would be a shame if that story doesn't get finished, because again, that was one of those ones where had it kept going when it started, I think would be the biggest anime, bigger than One Piece, in my opinion. But unfortunately,
I think that's probably not. I think that's probably true.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, speaking of artists outsourcing, I don't want to miss it. Mob Psycho. Is the first anime in a lot of years to get me that hard.
No.
Like, to get me, like, that sounded weird. That's not what I meant. I meant to pull me in that much.
Yeah,
that really came out wrong.
It really is. Mom So Good got me hard now, Jake.
Yeah, as soon as I said it, I was like, why would you phrase it that way?
No, I'm joking.
But it really is the first one that got me, like, so invested. I haven't been, I don't know, I haven't been that into an anime in others. Like, I've liked a lot, but that one got me so emotionally invested and kept subverting my expectations. It was, like, ruthlessly charming. It was, I don't know, I think it was, like, genuinely something special. I did not see this coming. I didn't even want to watch it. I don't remember. I don't know how I don't know if my wife got me this to try it, or I don't know where it came from, but I watched it and it just, like, oh, I didn't know. I've never seen anything even remotely like this. This is, I don't know. It blew me away. I will forever, like, that anime will forever be a really, like, not an influence, because I don't think I would ever make something in that vein, but it would always be kind of like one of the staple anime, like in my, and that's hard, that's a rare thing once you get old, right? Like once you're past 30, the ones that are like the anchors have passed, right? Because it was mostly when you were young.
Correct.
This is the first one I've seen in I don't know how many years that felt like that feeling, you know, of like, oh, this is a moment. This is a defining taste thing happening here. You know what I mean?
No, you're absolutely right. I think, again, it's one of those ones where the art style not necessarily based. Again, it's all subjective, right? But it's not your, cut and dry kind of art style and what you expect. But yeah, Mob Psycho, from the story to, I was speaking to Antoine Ittori, who worked on Arcane, and he as well, to your point, he was just reverencing about, and even I can't remember who it was, there was someone who worked on Naruto, who worked in the studio of Futechi, and again, they all revere Mob Psycho to the 10th degree, as it were. It's just incredible animation, incredible story. Yeah. The things that they did in that show, to your point, it just, for lack of a better term, got them hard or whatever, I don't know, but they were very excited about it. So, no, you're absolutely right.
It made me tear up, man. And, like, it's been a long time since something has gotten me that emotionally involved.
You've got to watch Ranking of Kings, man.
Oh, I loved it. No, I loved Ranking of Kings.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
didn't like. Okay, wait. I didn't like the ending.
I haven't. What is it? Is it? Oh, it's
well, I don't know if
fully
it's
ended,
over.
Right?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Season 1, I think. Yeah.
No,
I think it's got two
seasons.
2 seasons. Yeah. 2 seasons.
The end of season 2.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, this is. I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't like by the ending, I mean the very, 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 very end. Like the last chunk of the resolution of it all.
Sure.
That's why I think it's over. Is because it felt very like this is. I don't know. It felt definitive. Yeah. It felt like it was closure. Yeah. I could be wrong. Maybe there's more. I don't know. But
season 1 was
phenomenal.
Else. Yeah. You talk about emotion. You talk about subverting the shonen trope, because it wasn't a case where this guy has like some monster in him that's going to get released or has a hidden power. You talked about, the abilities of humans, and he's completely given. It was, insane. Like, honestly, and that, to your point, after 30 is like an anime which shot up into my top 10 anime. Like, shot up. Like, I thought nothing else could breach it, but that shot up there. So,
and it was such a simplified art style, and it was really like charming though because of it. In a way that I think is also true for Mob Psycho, but Mob Psycho is, I think, more off-putting at first.
Yes. Especially the way they sweat.
Yeah. But then I think you grow to love it, and now I'm like, I can't picture the Mob Psycho story in any other kind of art style, because it feels, the ugliness feels like it's so also charming and right for that story. And Ranking of Kings had a similar effect where, I mean, I didn't think it was initially off-putting. I think it's very easily accessible, but it's so charming. And even like the animation, I mean, when I say the animation style, that's weird because it changes a lot depending on the animator. But generally, it used smears a lot, which I haven't seen in a while. And I don't know,
what smears? Sorry,
smears. I don't know why I said people aren't using it in a while. People do use it, but they use it I think they exaggerated it in a way that felt new. But it's basically when you do in-betweens of a fast motion. Let's say, moving my hand from here to here. Yeah. To make it feel fast, you would smear this drawing to like be stretchy kind of. Yep. And Mob Psycho, not Mob Psycho. Ranking of Kings did it like a lot. Okay. And Mob Psycho has smears in multiples too. I don't want to make it sound like Ranking of Kings is the only anime doing this. Everyone does it, but Ranking of Kings just did it. I don't know. Even for subtle motions, and played with both smearing and squash and stretch to a degree. Maybe it's a matter of degrees that made me actually notice it in a good way.
I love how you're kind of like deconstructing, because as a storyboard artist, as an animator, as a director, when you watch shows, I guess, is it hard to unsee or not nitpick, or can you just enjoy it?
Honestly, I have the opposite problem. Okay. I zone out. Like I don't observe. If usually
That's good though, I guess. You don't have to.
Yeah, I can enjoy stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, so sometimes I do want to learn from something, and so that means I have to watch it multiple times. Like, I have to get the initial experience, and then I have to like consciously pay attention and try to observe things like the second time I'm watching it.
Yeah.
But it also means that two additional things, really. The first is that if I am noticing stuff, it probably means I don't like it. Because I'm not immersed, you know?
Makes sense, yeah.
And then the second thing is that I don't like very many things. I'm really, 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 really picky and really hard. It's really hard for me to find something to watch that I enjoy, which sucks because there's so many times where I'm like, all right, I'm tired. I've been working all day, whatever. I just want to go reach out and watch something. And it's like, it's going to be like 2 hours to find something that I'm into.
I hear you.
And it's because I'm so picky and I wish I wasn't, but like, yep, that's just what happened.
Nah, I hear you. My Netflix to watch list is just, I just put everything on add to my list, but I never actually watch anything.
Never get to it.
I'm just adding things and not watching it. Like, what do I watch? And then to your point, sometimes I just want to turn my brain off. So I've been watching a lot of, we call it junk food anime. And I don't mean to disrespect it because they are really good. They're bingeable is what they are. So things like, what's it called again? My Life as a Slime, which is an isekai.
Okay.
It's very easy to watch. It's just a guy who, dies and then ends up in this world, and he's got the knowledge of human beings, and he's able to build this whole new kind of town and use human knowledge to empower people and empower the creatures around. And it's just a humble, wholesome anime. And the same with Delicious in Dungeon again.
Oh yeah.
Just wholesome anime where I can just switch my brain off, watch it in dub, and then just be relaxed. So yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you on that. I definitely hear you on that. But I think in terms of watching the things that are exciting people now, and I'm not sure you've seen Solo Leveling, which everyone's talking about.
Yeah, I see it pop up everywhere. People talk about it, but I haven't watched it. Yeah.
Yeah. Then there's Dan the Dan. Don't know if you've seen that.
I did watch that. I liked it.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was that. What do you think of episode 7? Because that's the one where everyone was talking from a cinematography standpoint was insane. I don't know what your thoughts about the ballerina. Not sure if you remember that.
Oh yeah. That one came out of nowhere for me. I was not expecting.
Yeah.
That's the one with mostly flashback, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
That was great. That was really good. It was. I was enjoying the show up to that point, but I wasn't invested. And then that episode came on, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm feeling feelings now. What the? What happened? Is this the same show? Like, what's going on?" I want to. It made me want to read the manga, but there's too many.
Yes, too much.
It's too much.
Just too much.
Take it
Just too much. And then there's Kaiju number 8, which is another one where people are watching a lot. I mean,
I haven't seen it.
There's more anime, more problems, man. There's too much.
There's a lot.
There's actually too much.
Yeah.
Danny, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Really, really appreciate it. You said your wife's, is she an anime fan as well?
Yeah, I mean, kind of off and on. She'll read, watch anything, really. Books, movies, anime. I mean, I'm the same way, but I think she is more willing to try new things, and I'm way more it's way harder for me to be willing to try new things. But yeah, she is a fan. She watches some stuff that I like. She's more into Gundam, for example, and knows way more Gundam lore than I do. And so she has her specific. There's our individual tastes, and then there's the combined things that we watch together.
Fair enough. I'm trying to think of something I can let you watch. What's your kind of general interest? Is it cyberpunk? Is it action? Is it psychology?
I think I do. I like cyberpunk, but I think it's more because a lot of the more grounded anime that's been made has been made in that genre. So what we were talking about before with the why I like Ghost in the Shell so much is because it's so intelligently thought through, and it's it feels like an adult drama. It's another example of what we were talking about with Pantheon, where it feels like I mean, I guess that's how we talked about why we talked about it in the first place. It's like adult drama writing. That's what I like, and there's so little of that going on at all.
Have you seen Cyberpunk Edge Runners?
I did. I liked
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
I was into
Okay,
that.
fair enough.
I was gonna come into this podcast saying I haven't seen like much anime at all the last like 10 years, but I guess I've seen more than I thought.
Yeah. Again, to your point, whether they're anime or not is another thing. But I say anime is animation. So even though we're called super anime, we broaden out to all animation. So there you go. So yeah. Oh, I know this. Click on the next video before he lets it off. Impeccable form, by the way. And the Hunter x Hunter drip is... Get out of there! It's still there, though. Yes, but in his mind, it's gone.